At least Zelensky has an excuse. His political career is just 5 years old. Multiply by 10, that's Joe Biden's career for you. 50 years in politics, but all that experience has mattered little. Biden is still stumbling his way through this crisis. Wednesday was another example. Reporters asked him a simple question, a yes or no question. Do you think Vladimir Putin is a war criminal? Listen to what happened next.
Mr. President, after everything we've seen, are you ready to call Putin a war criminal?
No.
Are you ready to meet with us?
Thank you so much for everything that you do.
You asked me whether I was called. Oh, I think he is a war criminal.
Will you be meeting with us?
How decisive is that? Exactly what you want from a wartime leader. Did somebody nudge Biden to change his position? Did he not hear the question properly, or is this another classic Biden faux pas? Either way, the White House was forced to clean up. They say Biden was speaking from his heart.
The president's remarks speak for themselves. He was speaking from his heart and speaking from what he's seen on television, which is barbaric actions by a brutal dictator through his invasion of a foreign country.
Let's address the basics first. Who decides whether someone is a war criminal? The United Nations has a court for that. It's called the ICC, the International Criminal Court. It's based in The Hague. This court can label someone a war criminal. Question number 2. What constitutes a war crime? There is no fixed list, but most of the offences are drawn from the Geneva Convention. I'll list some of them out for you. Targeting civilians, targeting non-military assets, using human shields, taking hostages, using banned weapons, all of these are war crimes. Now, looking at that list, Russia is a prime candidate. They have targeted hospitals, schools and shelters. Residential complexes have been bombed. Technically, these are war crimes. Question number 3. Is Putin a war criminal? Vladimir Putin is the president of Russia, which also makes him commander-in-chief of the Russian armed forces. So he does share responsibility. Perhaps he ordered these illegal strikes, or at the very least, he knew about them. So the allegation is certainly warranted. Question number 4, can Putin be prosecuted? Tribunals have prosecuted leaders before, like the Nuremberg trials or the Tokyo trials. But Russia does not recognize the ICC's jurisdiction, so Putin is not going to be prosecuted, nor will he send his generals to the stand. So these allegations are mostly symbolic, and America should know that. On Tuesday, the US Senate passed a resolution against Putin. What does it say? It says that Putin is a war criminal and that the ICC must immediately probe his actions in Ukraine. How brave of the senators, except America itself does not recognize The Hague. In fact, they have gone a step ahead. Let me introduce the American Service Members' Protection Act, aka the Hague Invasion Act. It was signed by George Bush in the year 2002. What does it say? Now listen to this carefully. The ASPA authorizes the president to use, and I'm quoting, all means necessary and appropriate to bring about the release of any US or allied personnel being detained or imprisoned by, on behalf of, or at the request of the International Criminal Court. All means necessary, and that could mean anything. This law empowers America to invade The Hague, hence the name, the Hague Invasion Act. And I'm not saying the US will actually do it. But imagine the audacity. Washington will go to any lengths to protect its war criminals. And by the way, the list is long. The man who signed this law, George Bush, is one of them. His war on terror killed thousands of innocent civilians. He authorized torture. He illegally detained hundreds of people. But The Hague won't touch him, because if they do, America could invade. The man who succeeded Bush is no better. Barack Obama launched 563 drone strikes, 563. Around 800 civilians were killed in those so-called precision strikes. Again, no accountability. Now, don't get me wrong. None of this justifies what Vladimir Putin is doing. His crimes in Chechnya and Ukraine are equally bad. We are simply pointing out the obvious. A broken system, a system that lets powerful war criminals get away. We cannot let superpowers pick and choose which parts of the international system they like. Just think about it. America and Russia are both United Nations Security Council members. Yet both of them do not recognize the ICC. What's the point of the system? We don't know how this war will end or whether Russia will be held accountable, but here's what we do know. The post-World War II system needs to be reformed. If not, more George Bushes will emerge, more Putins will be emboldened, and the world will simply be a mute spectator. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.